Okay, welcome everybody to this evening's webinar, Portugal Calling, everything you wanted to know about Portugal's D7 Visa. I have Gilda Pereira with me, who we speak to every Monday, Migration Monday. Hi, Gilda.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And you're doing good?
Yes, everything is fine.
Excellent. And Christina Amaral, also from Assessoria Migratoria. Good evening to you, Christina.
Hello, good evening, folks. How
Lovely
you doing?
To see you. People will be familiar with Jordan because of the Monday, the regular Monday appearance. Christina, could you introduce yourself? You are well known to some, maybe not to others. So could you introduce yourself to us, please?
Well, I'm a senior consultant at since I've been working here since 2017, and all I do is D7 Visa, so I'm the go-to girl.
Yes, absolutely. Well put. Well put. Did somebody put my savior already in the chat there? I think that's referring to one or both of you there. Fantastic stuff. We'll have a little bit of an update on CEF more generally and take the temperature of migration coming in from around the world. And of course, all your questions. So we'll probably keep this section to about 30 minutes and then go to more personal questions that you might not want to share as a recording on the webinar in the second half-hour segment. So, yeah, how are things? I think you're probably quite busy at the moment, aren't you, Christina?
Yes, very busy. Everybody loves Portugal, though. You are introducing Portugal to the world in such a manner that everybody wants to join in.
Good news. Excellent stuff. Okay, brilliant.
Yeah.
As well as a great deal of American interest, obviously, where else are you hearing from around the world in your daily work?
South Africa, the UK, poor UK. Australia, Singapore, and
India,
a lot of folks in India. Yeah.
And India as well. Amazing. Okay. And let's clear up this name thing, which I'm not sure if I've got right. We call you EI. That's always easier. But strictly speaking, it's Assessoria Migratoria, isn't it?
Gilda?
Yes, you got it.
Gilda, I think you got
it. She vets how you say the name.
Okay, all right. Okay, so Assessoria Migratoria, EI to you and I. So let's get those questions coming in straight away about the D7 visa. Would you like to take us through, this is your daily work, Christina. Why don't you give us a little bit of a sketch of how the D7 visa works for the complete beginner, and then we'll go into the more specialist stuff a little bit later on.
Yeah. Okay, so right now, I think everybody knows that to obtain a D7 visa, there are 3 steps that you need to accomplish before you can even apply. Obtaining the NIF in Portugal, our tax ID number, getting a bank account opened in Portugal and then funded with some money, and finding a place to live in Portugal, which you can do in 3 ways. You can either rent for a year, buy a place, or have a friend in Portugal that invites you. Okay, they just sign a term of responsibility, and that's it. With all of that, you then just gather your financial information. And now, going into the financial information, everybody always asks about the minimum. Please do not apply with the minimum, especially in some places around the world that's begging to be denied. Okay? Some places are harder than others. Some will let you slide off. I've seen some things that there are consulates, and I have to say this, there are consulates that are issuing D7 visas without NIFs, without places to rent in Portugal, and they come to us like, oh, I've got my visa, I need to get ready for my SEF appointment. Okay, give me your NIF. I don't have one.
Right.
I'm sorry, but who do you know? Because that's the only way you got that. So yeah, that's a little bit stressing for us. Like, we are struggling with all of this. Our clients are struggling, and you come here empty-handed. Thank you.
And that's the mismatch between a consulate and what's required for SEF. So you're there for at least for one thing, to make sure that's not happening.
Yeah.
And people
I'm
being
sorry to interrupt.
Someone
here on the chat said that it's no longer acceptable that a friend can invite, but according to the law, it is. It is still, of course, that it needs to be, there is a specific term of invitation, and it needs to be recognized in a notary, but it still is available. And of course, that person needs to be a Portuguese or a resident in Portugal.
Okay.
Yeah. I think sometimes people misunderstand what we call it a promissory rental agreement or contrato de comodato, as we call it in Portuguese, from a friend inviting you over. It's a special term of responsibility. It's a form. It is foreseen in the law, and nobody can deny you because of that. Period.
Okay. Yeah.
And then things that you need to know about renting a place in Portugal. First, and this you need to know, because if you want to apply for a visa, you don't want to rely on luck and say, hey, that guy got it without the NIF and the rental agreement, I can get it. It's not by the book. Okay. So if you try it, you're just gambling away your precious time. So if you want to do it right and you don't have any friends in Portugal, find the rental agreement in Portugal. And what do you need to know? You need to know that to let go of a rental agreement in Portugal, you need to fulfill 1/3 of that rental agreement and then give notice. Notice can be 2 or 3 months depending on what's negotiated with the landlord. So you'll be stuck to that rental agreement for at least 6 to 7 months. And there's no way of getting out of it, period. That is to cover you, that the landlord cannot kick you out, but also for the landlord to have a security that for at least that time, he's getting his money. Also, it's not impossible, but very unlikely that you'll find a landlord willing to only begin the rental agreement in a couple of months when the visa is supposed to be issued. Mm-hmm. If the landlord can rent it tomorrow to someone else, he will. So he won't be willing to wait for you. And the market in Portugal is so hot.
Yes.
You need to be attentive of that. Okay. And these are pretty much my disclaimers for the D7 visa.
Three steps and disclaimers there. Okay.
Yeah.
So clearly it can be distilled down into 3 sections. But therein, the devil is in the detail.
Yeah.
It's very nuanced.
I do have another disclaimer.
It just comes to mind, okay?
Yeah. No, because
Carlos,
now...
okay, Carlos just threw his head into his hands there. It's going to be okay, Carlos. We've only just begun. We're going to get through this.
It's okay. Remember the time I told you, do not ship your items to Portugal without having your visas? Mm-hmm. Scratch that. Do not ship your items to Portugal without your residency permit. Okay. Because the tax authority changed things a little bit around again. So nowadays, there is at least one document that you'll need to obtain in Portugal, which is your NIF with a Portuguese address for your items to pass through customs without you paying the VAT over your own belongings. And they will only, and when I say they, is the tax authority, will only allow you to change your address on your NIF after you get your residency permit. So put everything in storage, worry about becoming a legal resident of Portugal first, and then ship everything.
Excellent. Okay.
Christina. Now that's it.
I doubt it, but let's see. That's your top level right there, everybody. And we're going to go into some detail now. And of course, you can get in touch with EI or A in our business directory. And I've just put the link in the chat, and the link will be in the notes on the YouTube channel as well. Now, Gilda, you made a very good intervention there, because you're basically said, there are rumors, there are people telling other people about what you can and can't do. It's the law that matters. And of course, AEI is built on well, your principal skill over there is you're a team of lawyers, effectively, aren't you? So the principal skill base is law practitioners, lawyers over there at EI. And actually, I didn't say enough. We probably haven't said enough about the company. Could we just rewind a little bit and go back to when you started and how big the company is and where you're based and those sorts of things? And then we'll come right back to Christina and tackle a few of those questions that are coming in already. Gilda, the history of your company.
Okay, so the company was founded in 2014 to help people that wanted to move from Portugal abroad and the other way around. That's why it's called A, from those who want to migrate and go in and to go out. And now we are over 25 persons working. There are three different how should I say departments, yes, for the D7s, corporate, and also the relocation department. We have two offices in Lisbon and in Porto. And that's it's what we do. We do visas, all kind of visas, but Christina runs the D7 department visas.
Okay. And may I add, I think your success rate, which is very high, is based on your vetting of people and their chances of getting in from the get-go. You don't mess people around. You're very straight with what's required, and that's right at the beginning of the process.
Yeah. And if
Yes.
it doesn't fit on a D7 visa, we try to figure a different solution.
Okay. But
Yes, we are very strict on the process, and as Christina said, yeah, but I have a friend that got the visa without this and without that. We always said, okay, but then it's not going to be our responsibility if it's not going to be accepted, because according to the law and how we made things, and according to our experience with this consulate, because this is very different from consulate to consulate.
Yeah.
So according to our experience with this consulate, we don't advise you to go that way.
Okay.
If people insist, then we say, okay, if you fail, it's not going to.
So it's your own responsibility.
It's going to be your own responsibility.
Yeah, and of course, with so many clients and so much experience, you are used to dealing with the consulates all around the world and the different working practices, because as we're finding out, they do vary from country. Actually, not just from country to country, but from one department to another in the same country sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's see who's in this evening. Good evening to you, Jeff, in Las Vegas. 38 degrees in Las Vegas. Wow. Hi, Gilda. And it's like, Christina is what Jeff's saying in the comments.
Oh, this Christina. Yeah.
Christina. Okay. Rishab is here as well. Good evening. Bon dia from Rishab as well. Yeah, my savior. I suspect that's aimed at you, Christina. Marty P's here also. Cheers from Alaska. Yay, Gilda and Christina. Fan mail. Howdy, everyone from Dallas, Texas. Soon, hopefully, I can say from Porto, from Thomas there. Thank you, Thomas. Anna's in. Hope you had a great birthday, Anna. Hello, everyone. Botard from sunny Cascais. And Ken, that's a great question, but I won't be reading that out. Hello, Christina from Patty and Hamid. We are supposed to get our passports with D7 visa on Saturday. So good news there. Excellent stuff. Update us, folks. Do update us on your process if you'd like to. Botard from Joe. And recently made my VFS appointment in July. I'm so excited. It's happening. Obrigada, Gilda, Christina, and Anna as well. Colleague Anna getting a mention there from Marty P. Hi from New York, but we're in Spain, says Erin. Carlos, aforementioned. Hi, Carlos. Good evening to you. And I thought, yes, this is where the questions start coming in. I thought we no longer can have a friend invite us. I think we've covered that. Thank you for that, Rose. Great question then. Let's go straight to these. PQ. How can I get a bank account if I don't have an address? The same with NIF number. Do I need an address? How are you going to handle that, Christina?
Oh, well, that's easy. You hire us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit more?
Couldn't be easier. Well, pretty much the way we do it, we have a contact with the Millennium BCP, and they simply use our address. So your bank cards will be mailed to our office, as well as your PIN codes, which will remain sealed until you can just come over to Portugal and pick them up.
Yes. Now, for American folk who are tuned in, who have an entirely different sense of security, I think that can come across as quite a strange thing to do. But clearly, you have years of experience of doing that, and actually, some Americans who've been through the process might like to talk about that and comment on that in the chat about how that works out. And effectively, you can become somebody's power of attorney as well.
Yes, for the NIF.
Okay.
Nobody can open up the bank account, even if remotely.
Okay.
But the person themselves. So we pretty much just introduce them to the right person, which will use our information at the office, namely our address, to use as their residency address here in Portugal for the opening of the bank account.
Okay.
The power of attorney for the NIF is a completely different thing and can only be used for obtaining the NIF of said individual. It is very limited. It's limited to that.
Now, it might be, Christina, that some people are scratching their heads saying, what are they talking about, the NIF?
The
NIF
NIF
number,
is a tax
consequence.
ID number.
Okay, you make it sound so simple, which I
Yeah.
suppose it is really, isn't it? It is the touch point, the tax touch point
Yeah.
here in Portugal. And you can't.
But
Go on,
it
go
is
on.
it is the first step for everything, and
Yeah.
also it is the NIF that starts the whole process. And you can't do nothing without the NIF. You can't open a bank account. You cannot sign a lease agreement. So you will need the NIF for everything to start the process.
Yeah, every big purchase, well, every contract in Portugal of a sales variety has the NIF number on it, doesn't it? Okay, and as I've said, kind grandparents are giving their grandchildren, sometimes even before they're born, no, not before they're born, but a NIF number. It used to be a place in a private school. Now it's a Portuguese NIF number. It's the ultimate grandparental gift. Okay, this is a very cheeky question, really, from Tech Cowgirl. Can our friend also be on a D7 residency? And do they need to prove they have enough bedrooms in their place? So somebody already who's rented and on a D7, can they be the friend who becomes your inviter?
Yes, they can.
They can. Very good.
They
So not
can.
so cheeky.
All we need to prove is that they are the ones renting that apartment. Nobody will go knocking on the door, checking if that person is there or if the person that they are inviting is there. Thank God.
Yes.
And so we pretty much just need proof of legal residency in Portugal, which can be the D7 visa or the residency permit after that, and a utility bill of the house.
Fantastic.
And the rental agreement or something that shows that their names, the name of the inviter, and their address in Portugal.
That's great. So what I thought was a cheeky question turns out to be a brilliant piece of lateral thinking. Thank you, Tech Cowgirl, for that. Tech Cowboy may be here this evening as well. And Marty, shout out to you, Anna, waving from Alaska. The grizzly bears say hello this evening. Desiree, great question from you. And I would say to anybody who's got a question, a bit reluctant to ask, there are no such things as silly questions here. The silly question is the one that doesn't get asked rather than the one that does get asked.
Correct.
So that's what we're here for tonight. Everything, as you see behind me, everything you need to know about Portugal D7 visa. So I'm unclear, says Desiree, about the timing when it comes to after you get the D7 visa. How long do you have to get to Portugal after that? So maybe if you could tell us about the 4 months, the 2 years, the next 2 years, and that part of the timescale, please.
Yeah, the visa will be valid for 4 months. And to be quite honest, you have the full 4 months to come into Portugal. Okay, you can come in the last day of the validity of the visa. We recommend that you come within the first 90 days so you can prepare for the SEF appointment.
Yeah.
You don't want to arrive having the SEF appointment the next day and be like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so having a little bit of window of time because you need to come to Portugal, settle in, get your bearings, and then, okay, I need to gather all of this piece of paperwork so that I can apply for the SEF and get granted my residency permit, which will be valid for 2 years. And then it will be renewed for 3 years. And after that, you apply for long-term residency and can even apply for citizenship if you pass an A2 Portuguese language test.
Yes, that's changed the atmosphere a little bit, but yes, thank you.
Hey, A2, it surely is like, hey, my name is, I like to do this as a hobby. I live here. Can I get a glass of water?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Queria un copo d'água. Okay, fair enough.
Exactly. See, you passed.
Easy peasy, everybody. Okay, no, don't you worry about that. So we can help with that as well. Okay, thank you, Desiree, for that question. I hope that clears that up for you. If it doesn't, let us know in the chat. So I could have my friend invite me and use Tech Cowgirl's got another part to this question and use their address to ship my goods to on the paperwork. I plan to go with GIR. They're our preferred movers, actually, GIR, Global International Relocation, to ship my stuff ahead of me and hold it in storage until I get there. We're leaving Canada, so our goods must leave ahead of us. Do you approve of that? You
totally not.
Totally not. Okay, you're getting the head shake. You're getting the Christina head shake there. Okay. Right. So
unless GAR can do everything without the NIF showing your Portuguese address,
Okay. All right.
No.
So maybe a call.
Well, they can always pay the VAT.
Yeah, if they want, but I'm sure people just don't want to pay taxes just because it's fun, because it's not. But it's their choice.
Yeah. And I mean, the people have found themselves in a situation, if it hasn't worked out and their stuff is being looked after by the Portuguese government in anticipation of them arriving, there is tax to pay and there might be storage to pay and all sorts of other costs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's not so much fun.
Not a great situation to be in, Tech Cow God. It might be worth having a call to the office. Use the link that we've got there and get in touch with the team at EI. Is it accurate that D7 can no longer be obtained through Porto, Lisbon, or Algarve residency? What's this, Erin? That's
you're mistaken.
No,
golden
maybe
visas
they are
with
talking
D7.
about golden visas.
There is a
Yeah.
golden visa confusion there. Could you elaborate or elucidate on that for us, please?
Yeah. Well, the golden visa is based out of, or was pretty much based out of you buying a property in Portugal, which was worth a lot of money.
Yes.
But mostly the golden visa is for people that only want residency in Portugal, but don't want to actually live in Portugal, because to maintain residency on a golden visa, you can just stay in Portugal 15 days out of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And with the D7 visa, you need to stay in Portugal at least 6 months in a row, or 8 months altogether every year from the beginning of your residency permit.
Okay, very good. Okay, so your confusion there, Erin, is with the golden visa, and the zones have changed for that. So it's not so advantageous or even possible when it comes to Porto, Lisboa, or Algarve. You might need to look elsewhere in Portugal for that. Again, a call to the office, and they will clarify that for you, because I see we have 30 new questions or comments coming in, so we're going to get through these. Hi, please advise if remote working for a UK company is accepted as passive income for the D7 visa. Great question, Lynette. Passive income, active income, there can be a little bit of confusion around that, can't there?
Yes, it can, because, well, what people need to understand is that for the Portuguese entities right now, passive income can be anything, even remote working, as long as it is not through Portugal. Meaning you can live in Portugal and work for a foreign company, and you don't need to be a contractor or an independent worker. You can be a full-on employee of a company based elsewhere in the world except Portugal, and it will be accepted for a D7 application.
Okay, there you go.
I just would like to add that for the visa process, you should have a letter from the employee stating that you are able to keep your job if
and keep on working remotely.
Yes, and also that adding to the remote work, you need to show some savings also.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Savings and the passive income, and that's a really good heads up, isn't it? Because with COVID, people working from home, and then people thinking to themselves in different countries, I've been working from home in my own country. Maybe I'll try working from home in my new country. And not all companies are happy with that, are they? So you do have to have the company saying that it's okay, as you're just saying there. Connie, good evening to you. Does EI have experience with the Vancouver consulate? If so, what is your success rate with Vancouver?
Yes, we do. And so far, 100%.
Marvelous. Okay, nice and easy. If I apply for a NIF, says Brian, now, but don't apply for a D7 for a couple of years, will it run out? No, I think my guess is that the Portuguese government are happy for you to be registered in their tax system for all of your lives, if you believe in reincarnation as well. Okay, there you go. Hola todos from Calgary, Alberta, from Connie. Rose, is there anything else that needs to be done for an invitation from a friend? People are liking the invitation from a friend concept, besides completing the termo de responsabilidad.
Nothing whatsoever.
That's it.
The signature needs to be recognized.
Depending on the consulate.
Okay.
I would say better be safe than sorry.
Yes.
What do you mean? Recognized as in it needs to be a clear signature that's legible and traceable to the
No, it needs to be notarized or certified or authenticated by a notary, a solicitor, or an attorney, whoever can attest that they were the ones signing that document.
Got it. Yeah, so that you're not, so that it's somebody in straight up circumstances might be signing themselves like a school.
There are consulates that will accept the simple photocopy of the document, but others will demand the signature to be actually notarized.
Okay. Alison and Michael, Ola from Texas. Hello, you two. Gilda keeps looking younger, says Marty P. This is not going to help with your application.
She does.
But it's not, he doesn't have to say that. It's not going to help with the application, is it? To be saying things like this. Gilda keeps looking younger. It's impossible. She must have found the fountain of youth, Paul, somewhere deep in Jerez. Okay. All right. Thank you, Marty. Question from Joe. Are dividends from a stock portfolio that pays out on a quarterly or half-yearly basis instead of monthly an acceptable source of income? Good question.
It is, if you can show the provenience of the money. So pretty much you can't just show a bank statement showing the money coming in.
Yeah.
You need to have a document from the bank showing that every year you get this amount of money from interest, dividends, whatever, and that will be your proof of income.
All right, fantastic. Let me ask on behalf of Jeff. We have flights booked to Portugal on July the 15th. They are cancelable, but I wanted to establish a specific date to motivate their review of our applications. That's great. How long is the approval process running in San Francisco? If all documents are in order, and should I modify our flights to a later date before the interview? What do you reckon? July 15th, San Francisco.
2.5 months. So depending on when you went for your appointment at the VFS, do the math.
Okay, thank you for that. And are there specific documents in the D7 package that have expiration dates? Another great question, and need to be updated. FBI check, for example, or any others. We had originally prepared these in early March, and they'll be 100+ days old at our interview. Great question, Jeff. Thank you. Over to you, Christina.
The FBI criminal record will only be valid for 3 months. Okay. And obviously you want to add all of your most recent bank statements. So don't use the March ones, try to use at least the April ones.
Okay, there you go, Jeff. And Brian, when it comes to, if we're going back to Joe's question about stock portfolios and those sorts of dividends, crypto similarly, although for a lot of crypto people, that won't be so brilliant at the moment, but similarly, crypto income you'd need that sort of documentary evidence to show you're getting steady dividends, right?
Yeah, and the problem with crypto is that some wallets won't show that that wallet is yours, that it is your property and that money is yours.
Yes.
So you need to be very attentive with that and make sure that you have a wallet, a crypto wallet, that can clearly show that you have it, it's your property, and that can discriminate the dividends that you are getting out of that crypto.
Great point. Very good. And that some would say that would be the beauty of crypto, that it's not in anybody's name. Okay. A different Jeff. Oh, and I must give a huge shout out to Andrea from Casa Portuguesa for all her help. Now, again, like with the NIF number, people say, what's that? What's Casa Portuguesa? Gilda, you might want to take that.
Yes, it's another company that it's connected with A, and it was born to help people to find houses to rent and to buy. Okay, straightforward. Find them also in our business directory, Casa Portuguesa. Question from Connie. Going back to Vancouver now, does Vancouver consulate make CEF appointments for D7 applicants? I have read it is stamped on the visa. That's how you find out, generally speaking, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, there you go. Desiree, a bit of feedback. EI does a great job. It was easy to get the NIF and bank account. So there you go. Thank you for that feedback, Desiree, on that. I used EI back in October 2020 for my NIF and bank account. Worked out flawlessly. Thanks, Christina, from Eric there. Brilliant. Thank you for describing the limits of the power of attorney as well. Fantastic. Oh, and NIF, Jeff, thank you for that. Look at it, Jeff, with Número de Identificación Fiscal. That's what it stands for. Contribuent, you might hear it referred to in a supermarket as well. While we're on the NIF, you are also fiscal representatives, right? You can act in that capacity. Could you tell us why somebody might need to do that?
Well, they need to do that if they are not residents in Portugal, pretty much. Yeah. Because the tax authority in Portugal wants to have someone in country to communicate in case there is an issue with your taxes or anything. Imagine you buy a house and you have to pay taxes on that house. They will not contact you in the US or South Africa. They will contact us. Yeah. And we have to contact you to let you know, hey, you are doing this tax, you need to pay it until this day. Let us know if you need help. Yes. And for all other little quirks that are related to the tax authority. There's one thing that everybody needs to know is that the NIF is a number that nobody can do anything with it except pay your taxes.
Right.
Okay, so there's no identity theft threat. So
Oh, I
it's
see.
marvelous. It's marvelous.
Yes,
Okay?
okay, I get it. So when you're in the supermarket, when you are asked for your NIF number, somebody from the UK or US who are frightened to death of identity theft and that sort of thing might think,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that out loud, I'll just show you a piece of paper with it. So the worst case scenario of shouting out your NIF number in a supermarket is that somebody else will pay your tax bill.
Well, one should be so lucky, but no.
Yeah,
All they can do is add expenses to my IRS, and then I pay less IRS.
very good. There you go. All right, result. Okay, that's good to know. That's
just one note. Just one note that
Yep.
I would like to clarify here. It's many people said, "Oh, but I can get an if with this guy because it's going to be cheaper and blah blah blah."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we got so many trouble with these people that when it comes the time to go to SEF, we need to get this paper from the tax authority saying that he has no debts. But the guy that took the NIF, he didn't ask for the password. And then we need to go and ask for the password. And then sometimes it doesn't come on time for us to have the paper to go to SEF. So for us, okay, it can be more expensive than other companies, but we take it very professional and very serious. We have the responsibility to ask for the password, send the passwords to the clients, send the communications from the tax office to the clients. And we have clients that we represent for 6 or 5 years. They don't live in the country, but they have properties here, and we still represent them before the tax authorities. So we do take this seriously. It's not just taking a NIF. Okay.
Indeed, yeah, and you get what you pay for, obviously. And how embarrassing is it to turn up at SEF and saying, I couldn't get into the portal because I didn't get the password in time. Okay, that's not gonna act in your favor at all, is it? This is a really sweet question from Connie now. Does EI handhold go with D7 applicants to the SEF meeting?
Oh yeah, we do.
Of course.
We do.
Okay,
it's a police force. You want to have an attorney by your side just in case. You never know if the inspector is having a rough day and just wants to pick on you just because of something.
Well, that's really interesting, isn't it? Because some people will go alone and they don't know to challenge the law. You're at the other end of the spectrum, aren't you? Where you can actually say, actually, the law says X, Y, or Z. Okay, so that's very reassuring to know. Yes, Connie, EI can go with you to the meetings. You referred to your fees, your charges. You know, there are cut price services around for the NIF, for example. Gavin is asking, and PQ are asking, how do you charge? What are your charges, fees for these services? Or is it too difficult to say? Do people need to call you? Because I guess people's situations are different, aren't they?
Yes, they are different, and we make a step plan. The way we work is that we have a different price for each service. And we send the step plan, and in the step plan, you can see the cost of each service, and then the payment is made step by step.
Oh, okay. So it's like multiple choice, effectively.
Yes.
You analyze a person's situation, you give them a quote, and they can choose the services that they want. Yeah. Is there a charge for that step plan for that first appointment?
Well, we normally charge 100 euros plus VAT for a consultation with us. The consultation can go up to an hour. So pretty much you are not just buying information from us. You are buying our time to answer your particular questions on whatever subject you want, on obviously related with migration, but it can be, do I get my NIF this way? Does this apply for the D7 visa? Should I use this? Should I use that? Can I use that? And you can use us just for the consultation. I had a client that hired us just to, okay, I'm doing this. Is it okay? And I said, no, I think you should do it that way, and you should do it that way. And if you want any other information, then you can just hire me to review the process once you're done, if you want, or just another consultation, and we'll go through it together. There's no binding relationship. We are here to help.
Okay, and in that, from that first session, it would, I guess people can find out the things they don't know, or they can run their plan past you for a double check. Are they aware of other things like the NHR, non-habitual residency tax status, and so on? Okay, excellent. Thank you for that.
Carl,
yes,
don't forget to mention that premium members and premium plus members get a 10% discount off the EI fee. So if you're not a member, premium or premium plus, sign up to that, and then you'll get a discount from these guys.
there you go. Thank you very much, Astrid.
For all services.
Okay, excellent, brilliant. Gets better. Erin B, could you explain the requirements for being in Portugal? Now, you touched on this earlier, Christina. I read 6 months consecutive per year or 8 months non-consecutive. Can you travel in the EU during the consecutive 6-month period? Great question, Erin.
Well, you can. Why? Because Schengen area doesn't stamp passports.
Oh, okay, very good. Okay.
If nobody can prove you were out, you weren't.
It's like a technicality then. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
And if you want to dive into technicality, they forgot to change the law.
Yeah. Okay.
So pretty much there is a little window that we can play with. But my advice is whenever you need to travel outside of the Schengen area, just keep a log of your travels. Why you had to travel outside, when you did the travel, so that if it comes to question by the SEF, we can just counter argue that no, these were essential travels and you needed to be out of the country for this period of time.
Fair enough. And I think SEF can look kindly on those situations. If you have a sick relative or you need to go home and complete on your house purchase or something like that, there can be good reasons that SEF will allow. Very good. Some reassurance from Tech Cowgirl here. I've just done the A1 language level. So easy. Achieving the A2, not too difficult at all. Well, very good, Tech Cowgirl. That'll come as comfort to people. Connie asking about Casa Portuguesa. I don't know if you want to take this, Gilda. Are many people signing leases for private rooms in shared accommodation? Is that possible? Is that what people do? Just take a room, become a roommate for the D7 process?
It can happen, yeah.
Right, okay.
So it is acceptable.
How
it is
you live?
acceptable. I'm not aware about that. It's not, when we try to find a house, is actually for people to rent it and to live there.
Okay.
But it's
if it comes to that.
Yeah, interesting. It's like a remake of Friends on the D7 visa.
Obviously, if you want to request D7 visas for you and your wife and your whole family, you probably don't want to show just a room rented.
It's going to look a bit fishy, that, isn't it? Okay,
yeah.
Sandy and Gary, thank you for joining us tonight. Can you get, how many of you staying in that room? Can you get a D7 visa and then later, say after a year, change to a golden visa without starting all over? So can you switch visas?
Yes, you can, but only if you don't want to live in Portugal anymore. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, there you go. You might want to say more, Sandy and Gary. We'll go to, we'll turn the recording off in a little while so you can ask, well, anyone can ask any other questions. And I know we've only got an hour with Gilda and Christina tonight, so we will end the recording soon. But a couple more questions. With average luck, what is the average time it's now taking for folks to find a 12-month rental and get the lease settled and received to include in our application? That is, that's quite a how long is a piece of string sort of question there, isn't it? But what's your experience at the moment on taking somebody who hasn't got any accommodation and having a lease settled?
Well, to be quite honest, it really depends from client to client.
Yeah.
Because there are the clients that simply want to find the cheapest place possible just to apply for the D7 visa, and others that think, okay, I'll try to find a place where I can see myself living for 6 months at least in Portugal. And it will be nice enough for me to feel comfortable there for 6 months. Okay. And if you are just trying to buy, rather rent the cheapest thing, it will be quite fast if we find something in the area that you want. And because the market is so hot, the listing will appear today and tomorrow it will be taken. So if we find a cheap place and you are just willing to do that, in about a week, you have your rental agreement signed. But if you actually want to find a more suitable place, then it takes a little bit more time because, again, when listing shows up today, tomorrow it will be taken. So we need to be fast, but then we are looking for the houses in your behalf. We are making the offer, and then everything will need to be vetted by the client and say, okay, yeah, go ahead, make that offer. So it can take a little bit more time. And sometimes what takes more time is to actually find a place that suits the necessities of the client. Because sometimes it doesn't have that balcony that you wanted, or it doesn't have that view to the ocean. Sometimes it's hard until the client sees that sometimes he needs to compromise on the balcony for now, and maybe later on he can have a big terrace.
Understood.
So,
yeah, there you go.
Yes.
I'm sure that's of some help to Alison. Very good. A couple more then before we go go to more personal questions. A great question from Rishab. Are CEF appointment problems only for the family reunion, or are they for residency permits also? There's not the same tension around the residency permits as there is for reunification, is there?
Well, because the documents are different. So yeah, for family reunification, and especially now that the SEF simply has no appointments for family reunification, yes, it is a problem.
Clearly, okay. But D7, not so much, apart from
Not so
the
much.
obvious volume that's occurring. Okay, and then finally, for now, in this public part of the webinar, Marty, is the CEF appointment only available in Lisbon, or are there offices in northern Portugal or the Algarve, for example? CEF are all over the country, aren't they?
All over the country, yes.
Okay, could you give us a few towns and cities to give people an idea?
Well, you have in Espinho, Bragança,
Viseu,
Portimão, Faro, Guarda, Viseu, Lisboa,
Madeira, Açores.
Aveiro, São Miguel. Yeah.
Leiria. Okay,
And
very
it's
good.
not based on where you live in Portugal. You can go anywhere in the country. Okay.
That-
Once you make the
yes.
appointment, you make the appointment for that location.
That's a
But
good
it
point.
doesn't need to be.
But one thing, when they give you the visa, they already give you the appointment.
Yeah. Okay. And we've heard, haven't we, of couples being given appointments in different towns or different.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
it's happening all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. That's quite nerve-wracking, isn't it? Well, for the time being, thank you very much. To get in touch with EI, to take advantage of a 10% discount, become a premium member or premium plus member, go to our business directory. That link will be below the recording here. For the time being, Christina and Gilda, you've been amazing this evening. Let's go to some more of the more intimate and personal questions. Thank you very much indeed.